Hey there, everybody out there in YouTube land. Jake of the OneManBand is back again, bringing you a RWBY feedback video. This is for episodes 8, 9, and 10 of Volume 2. So, without further ado, I say we just dive right into it. And just to let you guys know, I think I may be coming down with a little bit of a cold or sore throat, something like that. So, I want to get this done before my voice is completely gone. Or who knows, maybe this will shot my voice. Be terrible. But this is good. And to any of you guys that don't know how these videos work, basically I'm going to go through the comments that you guys left. I'm going to read them off. I'm going to give my feedback. That's why it's called a feedback video. And, yeah, it's a fun, grand fun time. Takes me, like, 2 days to edit. Let's do it! Aw, love this guy. Aw, thanks, guys. I mean, I don't know if you're loving Sam Bucktooth, or me, but either way, it's, you see, hugs. Hugs, this is my hug pillow. Jack Skellington hug pillow. I love him. This is why I give hugs. The way they acted. All but Yang and RWBY were like, what the hell is wrong with your dad to do that to a dog? And they acted like him, They acted like him stuffing so much stuff into a small area is common for him. Perhaps it has something to do with his semblance, like space manipulation. Most definitely. I mean, we do not know a lot about how, like, semblances develop and, like, what the spectrum of semblance power truly is. I mean, I have my own theories, and there's gonna be a video sometime coming out, and but we don't really know how a semblance can alter reality like that. I mean, me personally, I just think they did it just because it was funny. But you know, there could be some actual like real world of remnant like stuff to go with that, like space manipulation. But to be honest, I think like the dad was just trying to save on postage, so he just sent it all in a little thing. I mean, that's what I would do. If color is a big thing in Remnant, so much that they name their children after color, is that why Ozpin found it weird that RWBY has gray eyes? Well, technically it's silver eyes, but tomato, tomato, whatever. But as for the whole, why he found it weird that her name was RWBY and she has silver eyes, I don't think that's why he found it strange. I think the whole silver eyes things goes back to maybe her mother. Like her mother had silver eyes, and that's a rare thing. So he was probably able to like form a connection that like, oh, this must be the daughter of Summer Rose, that old friend that I had from a long time ago. Or maybe it's something deeper than that. Maybe it's all like a prophecy. The silver-eyed one will come into the world, and they shall save from the baptism of Valduin's fire. I don't know. But as for the whole, that's why Ozpin found it weird. I don't think he found it weird in that way. I mean, she could be called RWBY because of her hair. It has red highlights, so. Yeah. Well, with him being a scouting type, Oobleck obviously is an expert in information gathering. Well, I'm guessing that RWBY was disappointed due to him not being known among huntsmen as a warrior, but that doesn't mean he isn't one, which is something they obviously have not realized. XD. Now, obviously, you're implying the fact that Team RWBY was completely flabbergasted when they found out, oh, it was Dr. Oobleck who was going to be going out into the area with them. He was the huntsman that they were going to be shadowing. Yeah, I mean, he's the weird, crazy, jittery, crazy history teacher. You don't really associate them with, you know, he doesn't like go off on big old spans of great feats that he's done like Port does. I mean, and then they've seen Good Witch in, well, RWBY has, but she's probably told the rest of her team about Good Witch's ability in battle. And then Ozpin, he's the headmaster of the school, so obviously he's got some skills. But Yeah, I mean, we do know that Oobleck he's a historian. He's had, what's the word I'm looking for? He's got a small amount of archaeological, talent and stuff like that. So obviously, he was the best choice in information gathering. Plot twist, Oobleck is one of the best huntsmen at Vale. I think you mean Beacon, but, oh, definitely! Also, during what I am now dubbing as the Color Wars, there was mention of a totalitarian... a tyrannical government! So yeah, obviously there was probably, like... I mean, that was probably the time where it's like kings and emperors were in charge, because we do know that the individual, kingdoms, even though they're called kingdoms, they're run by a council, like a kingdomual council. Basically, it's a democracy, like I've said before. So, back during the Color Wars, which is a very good dub wording of that war, the Color Wars. That's a very you pointing that out is that there must have been a tyrannical government system going on. I mean, it might have been a worldwide government. It may have just been you know, oh, the high and mighty live high and mighty while everyone else is all poor and stuff in multiple places. But until we really get more information about what the Color Wars were truly about and who was truly fought in them and why they fought, and well, they fought for independence and creativity, so we know that. The glass weapons could easily have been made using burn dust to heat silicon dioxide, aka sand, collected from dirt and dust in immediate surroundings into formed glass. Yeah, what if Ruby and Yang like the rest of Neptune and Sun's team? That would be cute. Well, I guess it would be, but we would have to get introduced to Sage and Scarlet! Yang Xiaolong translates to Little Sun Dragon, while Tai Yang Xiaolong means Great or Supreme Little Sun Dragon. If you look at Monty's Twitter post from a few weeks ago, I apologize, I can't keep up with everybody's Twitter, stuff like that, but that's why you guys are here, to, you know, give me information on this stuff. Anyway, the Home Sweet Home post that shows a bunch of loading windows. If you open and zoom on the image behind the windows, is an open folder of different characters, with Tai Yang Xiaolong being visible in the far right. Tai is also generally physical combat, I believe in Japanese. If you know Naruto, which I do, Taijutsu is just combat skills and abilities. Also, Tai Yang is a type of acupuncture generally evolved in the head region. That, with his daughter being a brawler fighter, I could see how fighting in a similar sense to Neji from Naruto or Ty Lee from Avatar. But by striking quick, accurate attacks to key areas and pressure points to take down and incapacitate opponents. Okay, that was a lot to think about. So anyway, awesome job on the translation there. It was awesome. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, you could be smarter than me, or you could have just used Google Translate. But the whole idea with the word Tai, you know, like physical combat, all of that kind of stuff, is definitely something to think about. We know Yang, she is a straight-up brawler. Her ranged attacks aren't really there. I mean, she has very limited ranged attacks. So her father, he could have been the predecessor. He could have been the tank brawler type of the team that he was part of back in the day. But as for you making the connection that he's maybe like Neji from Naruto, the whole idea, Yang is a brawler, so she just basically hits things until it dies. You're suggesting that he hits certain pressure points. And if you're making the connection just because of like taijutsu and stuff like that, I think Rock Lee would be a better candidate to be kind of like his what's the word I'm looking for? His inspiration. Then again, if you really think about it, you know what I would like to see? What if Crow and Tai Yang are kind of like Kakashi and Might Guy? Be pretty neat. He states in his letter that he's leaving the island for a while. Now, is that correspondent with some actions that Ozpin is taking, or is it just complete coincidence? Minecraft. Oh, Sherlock, what is it we always say about coincidences? Sherlock, the universe is rarely ever so lazy. Very well put. I like it that you made a quote reference with that. I mean, I do believe that Tai Yang leaving Signal Academy at this exact time, it isn't coincidence. There's obviously a reason for it, because all the bigwigs at Beacon Academy, they know stuff's gonna go down. They know stuff's happening. They just ain't telling us. Yatsuhishi reminds me of Mori from Oran High School Host Club, since he does have the protective big brother complex, but knows when the person he cares about is capable of taking care of themselves. Alright, just quickly saying, we don't know for sure he has a big brother complex. That's just a theory me and Sleeper Ripture came up with. But so far, it's like, everyone's basically taken to having that idea about Yatsuhishi, but, yeah, I definitely think that. I mean, he's just that kind of guy. He's the protective big brother, and he doesn't want to be, like, overly protective, but he wants to be sure that they're not hurt, if you will. And by the way, thanks for giving me another anime I have to watch. Thanks a lot. I got a few things I have to get off my chest right here. Alright, Gemstone Alchemist, I am ready. 1. Tai Yang is a bit of an egotist, and he essentially named his first daughter after himself. 2. I have a new thing to look up on fanfic. Robots and Roses. 3. While we're on the subject of fanfiction, I was going to write a fanfiction regarding Team Coffee around this time, but I thought we would get a formal introduction, not a handshake, so I don't know how to write them. Dude, you and me both, man. 4. Don't worry about the thing about glass, as we all know that it was dust too. 5. Once again, on the subject of fanfiction, I have a fanfiction planned about that explains Team Coffee's away mission, but it won't be out for a long time, as in, come back next year. 6. I was hoping for Crow. And finally, 7. Zwei is adorable. Okay, I'm done. Black King rises. Yes, Zwei is adorable. They had to bring in the most adorable type dog, a corgi, into the show. It's like, now, when they first brought Zwei in, I was just kind of like, why? Why did they have to introduce a new character when you already got characters they need to introduce into the story? But then it was like, it's a freaking dog. And it's the cutest dog ever. It's like Cowboy Bebop dog. I haven't even watched Cowboy Bebop, and I know there's a cute corgi in it. And as for Tai Yang kind of being an egotist, wouldn't that kind of go with my whole idea about Crow is Kakashi to Tai Yang is to Might Guy? I don't know, something to think about. The whole robot with rose petals in a dance club thing is clearly a reference to the events of episode 4. Now, I can see where you can get that comparison where it's all like, RWBY was fighting the giant mech suit, and then they came from a dance club. But RWBY didn't come from the dance club. And it was Yang and Neptune that came from the dance club. So, I mean, I don't know, that could be the reference. It's a reference to episode 4 when they fought Torchwick in the mech suit. But it's really kind of vague in the sense that those things are all connected strangely. If you know what I'm saying, it's like RWBY didn't come from the nightclub, there wasn't a fight in the nightclub, and it was actually a mech suit, not a robot, so take that with a grain of salt, if you will. Alright, now we're on to the realm of episode 9. Let's dive right in. Maybe these ancient Grimm are, let's say, something that lives a long time like dragons. And let's just call their elite arc demons. Harmless Dragon Age reference. I can definitely see the reference that you're making with dragons there. I mean, a lot of mythos that have dragons in there, it's like dragons live for a long time, and as they live, they grow bigger and they get stronger and stuff like that. So there can definitely be a connection with whole dragons and Grimm. But Grimm technically aren't really physical, if you will. I mean, they're the manifestation of anonymity. So, I mean, it's not like they can stop at any point. I mean, if they take in more negative emotion, then they'll just keep getting bigger. Because it's not like that emotion's going anywhere. I think Oobleck didn't ask Ruby why she wants to become a huntress because he knew she could easily answer him and be honest, after all. So, she is supposed to be the simple, honest soul mentioned in Chapter 1, Volume 1. And yes, I agree with you 100%. I mean, the other 3 members of Team RWBY, they knew why, but they didn't... Well, it's like, they had a vague idea of why, but they didn't really know the how in the way. I mean, they knew why, but then they didn't know why, if that makes any sense. And Ruby, she has the most honest-to-goodness reason, because she wants to protect people and be, technically, the hero. So, yeah, kudos for you. I have the same exact idea. You're awesome. The ship is probably autopiloted. All it had to do was pick them up and drop them off. Yeah, no, I knew that. But in the video, I just thought I'd make a joke and be all like, who's driving? But then if you really think about it, what if, like, something bad happens and it's like, we need immediate pickup or reinforcements? Because it's like, in the last episode, episode 10, Ruby, you know, gets captured. And then they're all like, oh, shiznit. But then again, if it was just there, there'd be more, like, evidence of them actually being there. And if they're supposed to be scouting, then the whole autopilot idea was a good idea. Team Sun was on a mission in Vale involving cooperation with Vale's forces, not one of the missions for Beacon students. So probably they're to build relationships with the other 3 schools and thus their kingdoms. I can honestly see that, but I can't really see a reason why certain teams from certain schools, it's like, hey, we're going to take these missions. You can't take any of these ones. You can only take these ones. I mean, that's kind of taken away the whole, like, free will. I mean, definitely, yes, this whole idea of them, like, choosing their own missions is supposed to build trust with the other kingdoms. I mean, because the people of Vale, they have the other students just running around doing whatever in their city. So obviously there is trust there. I don't really think that the kingdoms are on, like, bad terms with one another. I think that what's going to happen is what's going to just push the kingdoms away from each other, whatever this big event may be. Since Grimm are drawn to the darkness of humanity, is there another species that is drawn to the light? To be honest, I really have no idea what kind of species would be drawn to the positive emotion. I mean, the whole idea, I believe, is that the positive emotion is what, like, strengthens and powers the humans and the faunus. It's like their will is driven by their positive emotion, their selflessness, their honesty, their laughter, their elements of harmony. And it's the dark emotions that power their sworn enemy. Think of it this way. Think of it as like the light side and dark side of the Force in Star Wars. It's like the dark side, they use hatred, they use fear, and then the light side uses other emotions, stuff like that. So it's like they feed off their respective emotions. I like what you're thinking. Keep up the theorizing. Aw, you hug. Big hug. Jake, after the credits and pre-order thing at the end of episode 9, they also showed a trailer for their new show, X-Ray and Vav, coming out this November. And yes, I know that. When I saw that, I was just like, oh my god. they're doing it. And so, the show X-Ray and Vav that's going to be coming out, I'm really excited for it. I mean, it's going to be something that we can watch while we wait for the next volume of RWBY to come out. So basically, they're the guys at Rooster Teeth, they're going to be giving us, like, the big shows, like, during the summer and stuff, and then these other shows during the winter. That way it's like, oh my god, we're entertained the whole time. So, possible reviews. The ruins are called Mountain Glen. Just to correct you, Jake. Other than that, most excellent review. As always, once again, you, big hug. I always look forward to seeing your videos on RWBY. Carry on, my good sir. Once again, big ol' hug to you. You're awesome. I'm just a guy who gets in front of a camera every week. Embarrasses myself. Also, to build on your theory as to why Oobleck asked the girls that question, my theory for why he did that was to give them cause to think about their purpose, which would in turn get rid of their negativity, making them more effective on fighting the Grim creatures. Since they wouldn't attract them so easily, it's probably something all rookie hunters and huntresses have to learn. Most definitely, and that is basically confirmed, like, in the 10th episode. Why they go back and they review kind of like why, and then they make a new reason why they fight after they, you know, have their powwow meeting. And if they don't have that negative emotion, then yeah, the Grim creatures wouldn't be drawn to them as much. So they would be more effective in killing them. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. Perhaps Cinder is using the anger and hatred of the White Fang to move pieces, the Goliaths, the Elephant Grim, into place. Wherever her plan is, it probably involves the more powerful Grims. That is good. That is really good. The whole idea that the negative emotion that the White Fang are giving off would help gather Grim into that area. But Oobleck basically, like, kind of states that those Grim, it's like they've kind of been treading that path for a while. And they come back and then they don't attack, they just continue on their way. But they are definitely gathering Grim in the area that they are, the Ruined City area. Those big Grim were kind of outside. They kept outside of that area. That way they wouldn't provoke any humans into attacking them. But I do believe that the plan involves generating negative emotion to draw the creatures of Grim in. So definitely, that is a very good, definite idea. Oh, does anyone know the song that Jake uses for his credits? Oh, yes, there's a story behind that. But it is, the ending credit. It's either one of two. It's gonna be down here, and I'll like give you a link to another link. It's gonna be down here. Follow the link in the description. That'd be fun. I've thought of something. I'll be hated for it, but I'm beginning to believe that Adam might be a creature Grim that has evolved so drastically that he can live alongside the Faunus and fight for a cause. IDK, probably thinking too much about. Now, real quick, not a bad idea. Very dynamic idea. I mean, you're going into stuff that's like probably can't happen, but you're keeping your mind open, and that's always good, because like when stuff comes to slap you in the face, it doesn't hurt so much when you find out that whose face was actually this other guy the whole time. But as for Adam actually being a full-blown Grim, that wouldn't really make much sense. I mean, because Grim, their sole purpose is to kill humanity, kill, whatever. So, but older Grim have learned to stay away from humanity just to keep themselves alive. Adam goes out of his way to put himself in danger and to cause trouble. Now, do I believe that maybe I mean, we know that he's a Faunus, but could he possibly be part Grimm? It's altogether possible. There could have been shady biological experiments going on. And, I mean, that is definitely something to think about. I mean, I have this whole theory going on in my brain that I was like, oh, Summer Rose has become an embodiment of negative emotion, and she is now a Queen Grimm. I mean, so we should definitely not throw these kinds of theories out the window. I mean, I don't think you'll be hated for this. I mean, I like the idea. So, Mark Bowl, you keep up the awesome theories. Jake, Sage and Scarlet may appear in the next episode. If you notice, Mountain Glen, the place Team RWBY is now, is the same place Team Sun was in the intro. We can only hope, man. We can only hope. I mean, to be honest, I'm not exactly sure if they'll bring in, like, another team into that area in the next episode, but there's definitely a possibility. I mean, Team Sun they're with the police force at the moment, or a private detective, or whatever. So, they're following a private detective around the city of Vale. Wait a minute. Look at this. What if Crow or Tai Yang is a special detective, and they're following him, and then they all come to the place, and then we get to see them in action! And now on to the comments for episode 8. Holy crap! It only uploaded half of it! What the fuck? I'm so sorry that the episode 10 review, only half of it got uploaded. I hate myself. Why didn't I check it? But anyway, let's just go through the comments that were put, and then we'll do the rest of the comments in my next feedback video. Adam's rose is on the ceiling of their camp, which is far too specific and well drawn to be theme. It has to be plot. It can relate to the city or region and organization at the time. It could mean Adam was there or is currently there. Also, kind of hope the leader of the two guards we're talking about was Adam. Now, I do see how you can, like, believe that the whole symbolism of the rose being up there could be a fact that he was there or had been there, and that's altogether a possibility. He can definitely be there, and we just don't know it. He could be Torchwick's lieutenant at that place, but what I believe, at least at the moment, is that it was just there to, once again, to be theme. But I won't put it past you that he could definitely be there. Alright guys, pretty much that was the feedback video for you. If your comments weren't stated by me, it's not that they were bad or anything like that. All the comments were freaking awesome and cool. But, you know, once again, I'd be here for hours of editing this, and you would have to sit down and watch it. And I don't want to put you guys through that. I want you guys, if you guys truly want to do all that, you can just read the comments for yourself and do all that stuff. I'm just pointing out the key points that really caught my eye and I thought were really cool. Once again, going to be putting the next part of the part that should have always been there of episode 10 review. It's going to be coming out, like, basically you guys it should be out at this time. But anyway, I'm sorry about that once again. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out there in YouTube land, and I'll just see you then. Keep all your theories coming. I love you guys. Yeah, you.